include Blaze and the Monster Machines, The Wilds, and he joins us from Arcane as the voice of Echo. Please welcome Reed Shannon!
What's up, y'all? Just sit here?
Anywhere you want. You have first choice. You get to.
I don't know.
This is my stuff, that's all I can say. All right.
Hey guys.
Hey. And next, he's an actor whose body of work includes Kung Fu Panda, Attack on Titan, and is the voice of Iron Man in several Marvel series. Today, though, he joins us as the voice of Professor Cecil P. Harmon here. Please welcome Mick Wingert!
Watch that.
Oh, and hold on. Our next guest is bringing a bonus guest. Let me put a chair for them.
A super special guest.
Hello.
And finally, our next guest is an actor and producer whose roles include Young Justice, Batman Hush, and the incredibly undervalued Green Lantern series, which was taken from us too soon, in my opinion. And of course, Star Wars Clone Wars. Today he joins us as the voice of Pym and the Silco. Please welcome Jason Spisak! Woo!
This is Skella Purnell. She couldn't join us. So Skella.
You're answering great
Too
questions.
soon, Jason. Too soon.
All right, now we can do this.
Hey, everybody.
Woo!
How you doing?
This is the Arcane panel. Who's high? Ocala Comic Con. Woo! Yeah.
You guys been having a good weekend?
Oh
Me
yeah.
and Dead Me.
Yeah. Great weekend.
Awesome, very awesome. Thank you all for joining us here this weekend. What I'd like to do is start this off, but I would just love to hear how each of you got involved with this amazing gig. When did this first blip on your radar? What was the casting process like for each of you?
Gosh, you get to start. You're first.
Okay, that's why I chose
It's all
this
Reed.
seat.
It's all Reed.
That's why I chose this seat. You know, Arcane came to me and it just like a series of regular auditions. It was like at the time it was just like this untitled League of Legends thing. They were like this cool character and he like time travels and I was like, okay, like awesome, you know? And then I had one more audition for it and they were like, yeah, you got it, but there wasn't really much to it at that time. Like it was just like a bunch of art and a bunch of ideas that they wanted to hear. And so then it, you know, a few years went by and Netflix bought it, and then it was on Netflix, and it just, you know, blew up. It became this like beautiful piece of art, you know. But yeah, that's sort of my story. It's very anticlimactic. I'm sorry, it's, you know, but it developed into something so beautiful over the years that it was just like it was new every time I went into the studio to like record for it.
Well, I was doing King Lear in the West End, and they approached me and offered me. No, I'm kidding.
Like Reed, so many of us came to it just through the audition process. And the thing about Riot as a producer, like they are a game company, right? So this is their first foray into animation. And because our dear friend JB Blanc is not able to be with us today, he's still with us, just not in Ocala. I'll kind of tell his story. He was actually involved in it from the beginning. And when I say from the beginning, they actually took a version of the pilot all the way to not just a produced finished product, but they actually had a full-on premiere for it. And then after that, they made some adjustments. They're like, something's not working here. And because they're Riot, and all y'all love to make microtransactions, they just had money to spare. And so they revamped it, and what you saw as the finished product was actually years and years in development from the pilot they had already made with other actors and, you know, with different art and everything else, and they reworked a few key things. And I'll let Jason speak to his part of that story, but I came to Heimerdinger like Reed did, just audition out of the booth. I looked at the the actor whose work was in the game, and I was like, I think I can get this. A little bit of trivia, they sent it around as Untitled Oliver Twist project. They called it Untitled Oliver Twist Project. And it was because they didn't want to give it away, but they also wanted to set the tone. This was supposed to be very cinematic, very gritty, very, street urchin kind of drama. And I remember reading on a couple of characters. One of them I didn't get. And I will turn it over to the actor who did.
That's me then. Okay. So Silco came across as just another audition in the box, and they had a little bit of art, like a tiny, 2 by 2 inch square of a picture of Silco's face at the time. It wasn't the finished artwork at all, and the audition was the monologue from the beginning of what you know as episode 3. Do you ever wonder what it's like to draw? It's the story of opposites. That monologue was the audition, basically, plus one other scene. And I read it. It's just the voice came to me when I read the sides. I figured the language that they use, the writing on Arcane is so singularly beautiful. They took a long time to choose the words on the page. And you can sense that. And as an actor, if you read the sides and you're like, wow, mad respect for this writing, you try to get out of the way and just let the writing do its thing, which I did. And they really loved my take on the voice. And I came in for a callback. And Christian and Alex, who are the co-creators of Arcane, again, this is a video game company, and they had not done production animation prior to this. I don't know if you guys know this, but in the callback, they actually came into the booth with me and sat there the entire time.
Wow.
So typically in voiceover,
Not intimidating at all.
there's a glass, and everybody, including the sound engineer, is on the other side of the glass, and you're inside with the microphone. But not these guys. Christian and Alex were very much hands-on creators, and I think they were used to...
Okay, do it.
But I loved it because I was like, yeah, what do you think of that? Like, I didn't have any problem with it. They were very engaging. Their feedback was incredibly specific, and what it showed me is how much they cared. You know, like when you watch Arcane, you can tell how much they cared about what it looked like, what it sounded like, what it felt like, the story, the characters. And from that moment, I was convinced that this was going to be amazing simply because of how much these two cats cared about the show. And I mean, all you have to do is watch 5 minutes of the show and you know how amazing it is. And the pilot, they did a full pilot, and then they cut it into the first 3 episodes, plus a little bit of other footage, like you were saying. Just absolute brilliance. So I owe Christian and Alex so much for just putting their heart and soul into this.
Agreed.
And I can't thank them enough.
How do you guys know so much? Can you turn my mic on, please?
Somebody turn Reed up.
Somebody turn Reed Shannon's mic on.
How do you guys know so much about the beginning processes? Like, I feel like I'm so in the dark.
We talk to people.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're social. We're not above anyone.
Wow. I need to do some time travel. Go back in time.
You need that zero drive to take you back.
Right.
But because there were so many revisions of Arcane, like JB was in it early on, and then they brought people, and I was probably in the middle of that process, and then they brought, it just kept, people kept coming onto the ship. And I guess that's probably why. Yeah. Depending upon what phase you entered the process, you kind of know things that other people don't know, because they also are very secretive about it. I don't know.
Well, when did you guys begin to realize that this project may have exceeded everybody's expectations?
When?
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw the pilot that they created, that was for sure. I mean, to me, when I was just reading the script, it was like obvious it was going to be amazing. But yeah, I would say when I watched the pilot for the first time.
That's my altered version of. Did you always know it's going to be a success when you made it? You know, because everybody always says no, but I always like hearing of, oh wow, we may have gotten into something here.
Oh no, yeah, from the moment I read the script, I was like, oh, this is so good.
I wish I was as prescient as you and could say that. I think the script, and again, I got the Heimer sides, and that's a very specific scene. What they said to me was Heimer and Jace in the jail. And I knew they were going for something dramatic, and I knew they weren't going for something with heart, but I have to say, I didn't attend our premiere, as I was telling Jason backstage, but the moment I saw it on Netflix, and I watched the opening credits, and I saw the maquettes with Imagine Dragons playing over it, right, and those real high fidelity images of the spinning like statue maquette, I was like, this is special.
Yeah.
This is really special.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't know how big it was until I saw all of the fan art from around the world, and it was just like fantastic pieces of art that were from this show, and I'm like, bro, somebody in Pakistan is drawing like $1 million art based off of this, like how weird and niche of a situation, but you know, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, when they projected it onto the tower in Dubai, I kind of thought, wow, that's a big deal.
Right.
You know, that's a big budget. That doesn't normally happen.
I wonder if I'm still in the show or
Silco's voice is like echoing across Dubai, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Power. Power.
What's been the best thing to come out of this particular gig for you?
Oh,
Wow.
I would say the people I've got a chance to meet, but I don't think I'd otherwise have met, fans included.
It's all the friends you've met along the way.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think, so, like my peers here, I'm one of those guys that has dipped my toes in a couple of the different voice acting communities. And you'd be surprised how little crossover there is. There's like the dubbing community, and then there's like the what they would call the prelay or the like Western US animation community. And there are a few of us who do crossover. And because I've gotten a chance to do that, I've seen mature adult storytelling done in other cultures through animation. Things like anime, things like, you know, French animation sometimes will do an adult themed or mature themed storytelling and happen to use animation because they see it as art. And in the US, there's still this kind of Saturday morning vibe to animation. They seem to think, you know, that cartoons are just for kids. So I think one of the most amazing things to come out of being involved with Arcane, along with the wonderful fan base, is to watch adults watch a show that's animated and have it change their minds. We're starting to catch up with, at least in my estimation, we're starting to catch up with the Japanese when it comes to using animation as a storytelling art form. It's not just to sell cereal to kids on Saturday mornings. I mean, it has been more than that for a few years, but I feel like Arcane is a watershed event where you are watching the highest end animation with the highest end acting job, with the highest end musical development and sound design and lighting and just the highest end production quality, and people who are full-fledged adults that may have never watched animation before since being a kid are watching it going, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
I would never have thought that you could do that in a cartoon.
Yeah.
And that has been an amazing part to be a part of. Because I feel like that's culture changing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
I think there's a lot of people who now in the business of making animation, at least here in the States, look at Arcane now as this new bar that they want to get close to or try to beat or whatever. And prior to Arcane, that just wasn't the case. And they can't do it without taking it incredibly seriously.
Right.
So yeah.
I gotta say, it's so amazing watching like little reactions to like the Arcane Season 2 trailer. I was watching reactions and people just like light up and like get into fights over like the breaking down of even just the trailer. Like it's amazing to see like what it can pull out of people, you know, because it's the highest level of its art form, you know.
Yeah, and to your earlier point, yes, we're finally catching up to. We're culturally realizing that animation is not a genre; it's a medium.
It's a medium.
Yeah.
And we're finally beginning to really explore this, and not to name drop or anything, but I had William Shatner just recently ask me, Patty, what is anime? And I had to explain the whole thing to him. Well, it's cartoons, Bill, but
he's
you
in
see,
his 90s.
Yeah, but it's cartoons, Bill, but they treat it as multi-genre, so they do it for adults and teens and tweens. Okay, I get it, all right. That's what we did. So.
What is anime?
That's yeah, and it came out like, hey, what is anime? Well,
Bill.
Yeah. That's funny, actually.
But the fact that culturally we're getting aware of this too, and again, the beauty of this show is the stylization, and it lends itself to some fantastic creative choices direction-wise, and that gives you as performers and doing voices to these characters incredible attitude. You know,
100%.
Able to do stuff that in previous cases, there are choices that you can only make in this show. You know, and that's just not about the character, but to the setting and everything else. So, on behalf of myself and the audience, thank you. Thank you for your talents, your professionalism, and performances you brought to these roles.
I think one thing is that if you just think of Arcane and think of all the times that our characters are saying nothing and they're silent, how much of what Silco does in the show, how much of what lands on you emotionally comes without me doing anything as a voice actor, and all of the talented artists at Fortiche in France, and you know, a lot. There's a lot to this show that happens in between the words, and it is a truly collaborative effort. I mean, we're up here because we're the voices of these beloved characters, but there's so much of this show that is done between the utterances that is magic, absolute magic. And for that, I mean, I owe them my utmost humble gratitude.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, thank you for indulging my capricious curiosity. I'm going to jump in the audience and take some of their fabulous questions.
Thank you, Patty.
All right.
How about a hand for Patty?
All right.
I'm just the waiter. It's all good.
What is
All right. We'll do a line right here, and whoever starts off first will get 2 pieces of candy. All right.
Also, I just want to shout out to some of the amazing cosplayers here
Oh
today.
yeah. No,
You're
you guys are killing
Arcane,
it.
I'm seeing some Vi's, I'm seeing some Caitlins, I've seen some Jinx here today.
Yeah.
You guys are doing awesome work. It's amazing.
Really nice cosplay.
All right. And everybody remember the rules. Questions have to be for everybody, and no requests for line readings. We'll have fun stuff. Okay. What's your name, Carl?
Max.
So, okay. Good call, by the way. What you got?
So Arcane has a lot of really good messages that go out to the fans. I was wondering if there was any specific message that you guys carry with you every day and just kind of like sticks with you.
Max, that's an excellent question. Just really well thought out.
I would say, don't cry. You're perfect. That to me, it hits home in such a way of accepting people for who they are, even though they might be what people consider broken or, you know, outside the normal path, whatever that is, because there is no normal path. Just acceptance and love in that way. So yeah, to me, that's my favorite.
Yeah, my parents raised me to be very like cognizant of giving back, you know, to people, and that's something that Echo is like the forefront of, you know. And so that one line where he's like, it's not enough to give people what they need to survive. You got to give them what they need to live, you know. That resonates with me like every day, you know, because it's true. No matter what the cost is, it's important to give people what they need to live, instead of just surviving. Like, it's not enough to survive. It's not fulfilling to survive. You know what I mean? And there's enough of us to build community enough to be able to help each other and live peacefully, you know? And I think that's like such an important message, and especially through something like the story of Arcane, where you could take it and see it as, oh, this is just a story about empire crumbling, really, you know? But there are people who are in the story like Echo, like Heimer, who want the best for the people that are there, you know, and that's important.
Gosh, that's such a good quote, Reed, because
Thank you. I wrote it.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Like, we need to remember that in 2024.
Yeah. Look after one another, man. It's important.
Gotta give people what they need to live. I want to glom onto Reed's, but I think for a level of completeness, I will also say that, you know, when I'm watching friends of mine who have personal struggles, the line of Heimer's that comes to mind is, sometimes the brightest stars burn away the fastest, or burn out the fastest. And it's so, like, if you are one of those artists, if you've ever been with one of those artists who are so brilliant and yet it's such a struggle to stay a light, I see you. So, and you matter.
The first ones to get to. All right,
matter.
great question.
Great question, Max.
Good question.
Hi, what's your name?
Ren.
All right.
So music is such a huge part of Arcane and just a huge part of life, and as some of you are musicians. If you had a song that could describe your character, what would it be?
Sober by Reed Shannon. No, I'm playing.
That's funny. A song that would describe my character. That is tough.
Oh, man.
Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Wow.
That's a good one. These characters are just so complex. It's like, what moment are they listening to what song?
Enemy.
Yeah, thanks.
Imagine Dragons.
No,
So
seriously.
Sure. I'll take that. That's easy.
Oh gosh, what would I play for Heimer?
Do you have a suggestion for Heimer?
I have a joke suggestion.
Just a hard question and leave you out to dry.
I know, right? What am I supposed to say? You're looking at all of musical history. Merry-Go-Round Broken Down. No. I think Your Body is a Wonderland by no. John Mayer? No.
You got a friend in me.
How about that? You've got a friend in
Yeah.
me. Thank you, Patty. That's a great
there you
one.
go.
That definitely.
That's Heimerdinger.
That definitely describes
That's a
Heimer.
great one.
Yeah.
Saved by
Doing my job.
Whoa. What are these gifts you giving out?
Well, everybody asks a question.
I wanna
If
ask
I
a
follows
question. I have a
the rules,
question.
gets a piece of candy.
I have plenty of questions.
It's some
Yeah,
sort
but
of.
you're on that side.
Give this guy some candy, for
It's sort
God's
of.
sake.
It's a.
All right, I'm ruining the day.
There's that big red bag there at your feet.
Where's my
That's
Z
a
drive?
couple thousands. All right.
It's some sort of bizarre dentistry callback. I don't know what's happening. You can have two.
He takes them both.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, what's your name?
What needs to live?
Well, first off, all of you are fantastic. I love your work at Arcane. And I wanted to ask, what are some of your, or what is your favorite scene from Arcane Season 1 and how that whole story went down?
Favorite scene?
What, for our characters or in general?
And I mean, it could be for your characters, but in general.
Okay.
I like the part where Echo presses Caitlyn up, and she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, Kate, guilty ass enforcer. You know, I love that part. I love that part because he's so small. You know what I mean? But so powerful. And he's just like, you know, it's a good moment.
Little man.
Little man.
Little man.
Little man.
That's what Reed needs to live, not survive.
Yes. On my last viewing of the show, which was just
Now, I need those for the rest of the day, so.
Yeah.
on my last viewing of the show, I absolutely loved the scene between Silco and Vander at the end of episode 2, where Vander's in the cuffs, he's been beaten up, and it is them working out there together.
Yeah.
And the whole tension of that scene is listen to me. Both of them are trying to get the other person to listen to them as to why they are right. and Vander is only thinking about protecting his family. Please don't do this. Please listen to me. And Silco is sitting there going, you gave up. Silco has some great lines in that scene about...
We had a dream, Vander.
Exactly. And Vander goes, I'm sorry for what I did. And Silco says, no, you don't understand. I didn't lose respect for you because you tried to kill me. I lost respect for you when you fucking became their lapdog. Pardon the language, I'm sorry. When you stinking became their lapdog. And that's such a good tension in that scene. It's so powerful.
The bridge scene.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. How about you?
I really love the alley scene with Powder. Because if she doesn't come up to him and ambush him with this hug, Silco goes down one path and Powder goes down this path, right? But because she does that and he's sitting there unexpectedly and decides to do this, then everything changes for the two of them. And I think that just reminds you of how much in life unexpected change comes from some other person involved in your life, right? And it could be a daughter, it could be a son, it could be a mother, it could be a friend. And we don't get to choose how those people come in and out of our life, but once they do, we're affected forever. And Silco would not be the same person at the end of the season where he says, I never would have given you to them, not for anything. Because he wouldn't have been that guy. But because he ends up with a daughter in his life, is there anything so undoing as a daughter? There isn't. There isn't. If you're a parent, you know that's the case, And to me, that's why the alley scene where he says, it's okay, we'll show you. It means, it just changes him, yeah. So I love that.
What's your favorite scene?
I'd have to say I love the fight between Jinx and Echo.
It's so good.
I love the fact that it does this whole thing where it shows them fighting, but it also shows a version of them as children playing this game, and it's kind of this back and forth, and you feel like it's both a game, it's both representing the history they have with each other, but at the same time them being at odds in this crazy chaotic fight that's going to end in an explosion, and it conveys so much, and it's so beautifully animated, and the music just goes slaps. And so one of my favorite moments that stays with me after Arcane. I love it.
Good answer.
It's like back to what Jason was saying, those little moments that are in between the lines. I remember recording, there's this moment when he, right before Echo drops the watch, he laughs a little bit. And that moment for me was it really set in who and what Echo is for my life, because he knows what's about to go down, she knows what's about to go down. They know that they're very serious about this, we've been fighting this whole time, but there's still that that love that just kind of is the passion that exudes from both of them. You know what I mean? And it's those little moments that are so important to such a beautiful story, because it gives you more context as to why they go to such extremes for their points, But that's how we are as humans, all those little things matter, and so to see it like that, they could have easily just kept fighting. But instead, they were you want to do this? All right. Let's do it.
Hey, what's your name?
Matthew. Well, I gotta say, I was a little mad when I found out that season 2 was gonna be the end of the show. So I kind of want to ask you if any of y'all are sad that you'll only get those 2 seasons to explore the world of the show, explore your characters, and to share those characters with the rest of us.
2!
Yeah, I'll jump in. He's eating. He's playing with the skeleton.
That's the kind of day it is.
It's
Sunday.
that kind of day, folks. I would have loved for them to continue this for 5 seasons, 6 seasons. I think, the age of media that we live in, we are so lucky if we get 2 seasons on any show.
Right.
But I know that they specifically did this at Riot, not because they were getting canceled or not because they couldn't make it go on, It is that they wanted to wrap the stories that they were telling with this particular thread of characters in a tidy package. I know this won't be the last media that you see from Riot outside of the games. Again, no spoilers or anything like that. I don't know of any specific projects, but I do know
Mick Wingert said that there would be more stuff.
But
He broke the NDA!
I did not break the NDA. I'm just saying this won't be the end of all media from Riot outside the game. However, I do know that they wanted to tidy up these stories. But yeah, I don't know if mad is the right word. Disappointed, because I would love to not only play in this universe, but as a fan of the show, like you, I want this to never end. I want this universe of Piltover and Zon and Noxus to just grow from here.
I'd like to not be dead.
Yeah, and I'd like for Jason not to be dead.
I don't think that's true. I don't know.
I would like for you not to be dead.
Thank you very much. Yes, I wouldn't say anger is the proper emotion. I think it's a little bit of sadness, to be honest, because when you have something as beautiful as Arcane and it's at the masterpiece level, you just want that feeling to never end. You just want to be able to see what else is going to happen. Please tell me all your stories this way. That's what I want. And, you know, we can't always have everything we want. We can't always live past the end of season 1. Sometimes that's just how the story goes. Yeah. So in this case, the fact that season 2 is the end of Arcane's episodic existence as a masterpiece, that's just how the story goes. But I don't think it's the end of the story by any means, as Mick says. So.
Great question. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Michael, for your excellent question as well. Thank you.
I thought it was awesome.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Alex.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
All right. Pardon my accent. My question is, do any of you play in League of Legends? What rank are you? And maybe you know any other voice actors playing League of Legends?
No, I don't play League. I don't. But they just put Silco in Teamfight Tactics a while ago, so, you know. Woo!
Yeah. Nah, I wish I played, but every time I try, I lose, and it's like a real bitter moment for me. So I stay away, you know.
Yeah, I can only tolerate so many death wishes from in chat, so I don't play League.
Yeah.
But I hear Ella Purnell's vicious in it.
Is it?
Really?
No, I'm just making that up. I'm making that up.
Skella?
Are you Ella?
I think Skella is an amazing League player.
She kills at it.
She's in diamond. She's at diamond level.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Good question, though, Alex.
Yep. Hey, what's your name?
Stella.
Hello.
Another music question, since it's such a huge part of Arcane. Was there a musical artist that you were really excited to see on the soundtrack for season 2?
Oh my gosh.
Season 2.
Stromae? Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I can talk about this. Before, some time ago, we went to talk to Mako, who works on the music. He's like the head of music, and we were just chatting up with him, because we love the music, and he showed us what Stromae does in the season. Season 2 is a masterpiece, guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful series.
We're not saying anything.
Cool. Good.
Stromae, that's the French artist, right?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm
Bieber.
so excited about that too.
And Cheryl Lee Ralph. And also, Mick Wingert is on the... He was released in the soundtrack list. Trying to be modest.
I feel like the marketing department dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah,
that should have been
really,
such a good surprise.
They should have popped that later.
Much later.
They should have held that you're on the soundtrack till much later.
But it is public information, so no spoilers.
My favorite artist is Mick Wingert on the soundtrack.
Well, I do what I can.
Thank you. Great question. We got a few minutes left, but I think we can get through all these people. So, all right. What's your name?
My name is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
And projects like Arcane, of things that are just dense, have to come with their challenges. Is there anything that you learned while working on Arcane, or was there something from a previous project that you're like, this skill I learned?
Wow. So how did Arcane help us grow as like actors and develop our skills?
I would say, in my case, it's do less as an actor. To just do less. Sometimes you can get in your own way. I mean, if the story is written so well like Arcane is, you're surrounded by world-class talent, you can do less and come up with something absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good lesson.
This is kind of odd, but it brought me a new way to love myself. You know, to see people's reactions to Echo. When I go into the booth to do Echo, it's not far from who I am as a person already. And so, you know, I've had over the years, I've had feelings of doubt about, you know, how Echo would land with people, and just to see people's reactions and see how much they love him, it's given me a chance to see myself as an actor, you know, and see myself through my craft, and really just like continue to like push to be myself when I'm auditioning for different things or when I'm doing different projects, you know, and it's really a beautiful thing for me.
You know, when I got into this business, I thought that that there was I thought that I was a good performer, but I never thought I was a good actor. And I always made that distinction. Like, I'm good with crowds. I could do with, like, you know, moderating a panel, or, you know, being funny, and, you know, just performing, keeping people in the palm of my hand and working a crowd. But I always doubted myself as an actor. And the team at Arcane was very intentional about telling me that I booked this not on The Voice. That they were looking for, they weren't even sure that Heimerdinger was going to make it into the cut, that Christian really wanted to put that character in the show, but they weren't sure they were going to be able to hire an actor who could play the humanity of Heimerdinger while honoring the voiceover work, you know, and the
very unique character placement of this high-pitched yodel.
And the last thing they wanted was just a quote cartoon actor coming in and, you know, making it Looney Tunes, and I really grew. I feel like I had grown enough that I booked the part. They really, again, they focused with me. They're like, okay, do that. My callback audition, they were like, do that again, but just bring a little more reality to it. Like, what is he, like, bring a little more, like, what is he really feeling at this moment? And so I went and did it again, and it was so positive and so powerful. And just to have Christian and Alex and David Lyerly, who was our casting director at the time and the voice director at the time, who was like, you nailed it, and we weren't sure we were going to be able to have this character in the show, and thanks to you, he's in it. That grew me as an actor.
It's a huge compliment.
It's a huge compliment. I'm like, I feel like I'm a better actor, and I understand acting better because I'm in Arcane. Because so much of what we do, we can't, even if we are good actors, we can rely on vocal parlor tricks, right? You can always hear it when somebody's not acting at all, but sometimes we get into this mode where we're kind of what I would call doing acting light, where we're putting on a voice, and the voice director's like, okay, give me 3 in a row, and we give one like this, and then we give one like that, and then we give one like this, and then pick their favorite, and we move on, and it gets real grindy. And it only gets that way if you learn to rely on your parlor tricks instead of really investigating what is this person feeling, what are they going through, what history are they bringing to the table. And I mean, to play somebody who's 300 years old, who's watched a genocide, was totally new to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for that question.
Great question.
And our
No
game
problem.
makes-
Okay, 4 questions, 4 minutes. So we'll do a quick lightning round, and we'll get everybody in. Okay, welcome back. What's your question this time?
I asked Ella this yesterday, but I really want to know you guys' answers, whether it was manipulation or truth. Do you guys believe what Soko told Jinx at the end of the season? Like, I would never have given you to them. And why do you or do you not believe
Do we
that?
believe that Silco wouldn't have given her up?
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go first.
Yeah, I don't know. I've, you know, playing Echo, I've been in the mindset of like anybody Silco related or Pilty related, they're bad. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that Silco would have given her up. Truly. You know, he said what he said, but he also said a lot.
Cold-hearted.
I don't think he would have. And here's why. The scene that Jason mentioned on the pier, it really did change him. He went from having nothing to lose to having something to lose. He basically he went into Vander's shoes.
Yeah.
So the scene I talked about earlier, where they were talking on the bridge in the catwalks over the factory, he had nothing to lose.
Right.
And so it was all about the ideal. It was all about the nation of Zon. He was willing to sacrifice everybody else's family because he had no family to lose. And I think once Powder entered his life, it changed him. Because that's what having a kid does. Or at least what it should do. So.
I like the fact that I have incredibly gifted and talented actors and millions of intelligent fans wondering whether or not my character meant what he said. Because I think isn't that what telling a good story is about? It really is. If I stand up here and I tell you I think Silco meant what he said, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that we're having this conversation and people are passionate about it because it matters to them. That to me is the goal, is to ask ourselves in our lives, is it possible to change? I think what people are really asking is it possible for Silco to change? That's what they're really asking at the base level of that question. And I think the answer is yes. I think despite all of the things that happened in his life, that he does have something to lose. That at the very end, I mean, do we all think in this room that Silco is not playing chess while Jace plays checkers? Come on, guys. Let's be honest. If Silco didn't want to end up giving Jinx, there's any number of strings he could have pulled and whatever, even if he gave them to her to get her out of prison later, it doesn't matter. There's no way he's giving his daughter up. There's no effing way that's happening. And he wouldn't have to, because he has all the means to make that a reality for himself. And when he's by himself, what he thinks is alone, and he's sitting under Vander's statue, and he says, "Is there anything so undoing as a bird?" I mean, what that means is, it's not the undoing is that all my plans are unraveling. It's that the he that he was, so sure of himself, so committed that at all costs he would throw other families under the bus and everything, so committed to this cause, that man is gone. It's gone. And that's his moment that he realizes that he is in a way now understands Vander. To Mick's point.
Which is what Vander says to Silco.
Right.
I'm just not that man anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think he means it 100%.
There you go, you got it. Okay, what's your name, what's your question?
Vic, and I'm wondering, obviously there are a lot of moral dilemmas throughout the entire show on all sides. One of the things I love about Arcane is the fact that there's really no, like, villain or hero and good and evil, because there's so many different levels.
That's life.
Do you find yourself sometimes defending some of the, like, morally ambiguous or negative actions of your characters because you're so connected to them through the voice?
Yeah.
I got lucky. Echo is probably the only character in Arcane that had well intentions, you know, throughout the whole time. Even like when he was Little Man and he sent them to the top side, you know, that was still good intention. He was just trying to help, you know.
Yeah. I don't know that any of. Let me rephrase that. I don't know that many of us know what it's like to live under the oppression that the Zonites lived under. I think some of us in this crowd know what that's like. Thank you. I think some of us in this crowd know what it's like to be considered a second-class citizen. But I think, like me, I don't understand that. And I think that makes me become an apologist for some of these people who are doing really gray actions to get what they need because they can't work in the system. The system's rigged. And I find myself definitely taking up the argumentation for a Silco or for a Jinx or for, you know, even a Caitlyn who's going against what her regulations say as an enforcer. Like, that's what I love about this show, is it's really about us. So
I would say defending someone's actions are different than understanding them. And I can definitely see where Silco comes from. To have been drowned by your brother and nearly killed, what does that do to you as a person? When you're already living a life of a second-class citizen, when you're already seen as less and having to fight for everything you need, let alone even getting a chance to live, as Reed would say. Like, I can understand them. I would never defend, I would never be like, oh, Silco is so right to kill everybody. Because I think morally, I know that that's a wrong thing as a human being. Like, no, that's not how Jason would approach it at all. But again, in this story, in this context, can I understand the character that I'm playing? I don't see my characters as good or bad. I don't think the world is that black and white. And I think as an actor, when you can empathize with your character and understand their point of view, then you're going to be playing them as they see themselves, right? I'm not standing here judging Silco. I'm being Silco. And to do that, I can't stand in moral judgment on myself, in a way. So yeah, I mean, but I'm not going to defend the fact that the guy's a murderer. That's not going to happen.
There you go. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So good. You guys are asking such good questions.
I love
Thanks,
these
everybody.
questions.
They're amazing.
Hi, what's your name?
Emma.
Hey, Emma.
I was wondering, how do you guys feel about your characters, like their arcs as the stories progress? Do you feel like good about them, or are you like upset about anything?
I'm a little sad that I'm this guy. Other than that, I think it was awesome.
Yeah, I think Echo's story is killer, you know, just because he has such good intentions, and then, you know, like he finds Heimer and they just, you know, like bounce minds, and that's like everything that could be, you know, that's like the perfect culmination in my opinion.
I love how they've written Heimer's story. I think the best thing that ever happened to him was getting kicked off that council.
Yes.
He had to see the other side. And it's not because he was evil or that he had any bad intentions. He was just so out of touch.
Yeah.
And so for him to walk through the Undercity and see what he had created or allowed to be created was such an amazing choice on the part of the writers and the team. So I agree. I love his story.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, Emma.
Hi, what's your name?
Emma,
Hey, Emma too.
Hello, Emma.
what's your favorite song from Arcane?
Favorite song?
Quote or song?
Song?
Song. Song it is.
Yeah. I would say the final song, Sting sings it, and it's so incredibly beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, to me it sums up the emotional quality of that moment when, you know, Silco has passed and Jinx is taking, you know, fish bones and shooting it. Like, there's just something, this emotional crescendo, and that everything that she's just lost, to me, it's so perfectly tuned to that moment. That's why I really love that song. I can't listen to it without crying. I don't care if I'm not watching anything, if I'm in the car, you turn that song on, I'm done. I'm wet ragged out, man. I'm crying for days.
Ryan.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that one, but another one is the song at the beginning of episode 7 where they're showing like the firelights and that cool little montage. It's Pusha T's on that record, and it's just like, it's cold. Every time they have a song that has to do with Echo, it's like the coldest thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's me.
My favorite song is yet to come in season 2.
Sung by Mick Wingert.
Emma, do you have a favorite song?
Yeah.
What is it?
Enemy?
Yeah. I love Enemy. It's such a good song.
There you go.
Plays
Thank you, Emma.
every episode.
Hi guys, I'm Patty. I wanted to know if you had any upcoming projects that you were allowed to share with us.
Upcoming projects.
Projects that are allowed to share.
No, they won't let me talk about anything, like, until it is publicly released.
Sometimes something like, oh, this thing drops in a few weeks or whatever.
Reed's got an album out right now.
Yeah, I just dropped a song called Sober. You can stream it on all streaming platforms, so that's cool. I also have a movie coming out with Cookies Enterprises Burner. He's a rapper. It's a movie about the Bay Area. It's called Splash City. It'll come out sometime this fall. Actually, probably around the same time that Arcane's coming out. So yeah, that's what I got coming up.
I am I'm doing some NDA projects. There's nothing bigger than Arcane Season 2 coming on November 9th.
Seriously.
Act 1 on November 9th. But I've also been doing some voice directing, and I'm very proud and privileged to be involved in a show as a voice director and as an actor called Bat Wheels, which is great for your kids. It's like a preschool show set in Gotham City. I get to play the Joker in it.
And a little robot named Mo who sounds like this.
So I love Bat Wheels. Go check it out. It's on Netflix now.
Cool. And I'm actually get to play a character who doesn't have a name, but he's like the Man in Black, like AKA Death, in an on-camera performance, a feature film called The Vast Lonesome. And we're just finishing up shooting on that, so that should be out next year, The Vast Lonesome.
Right on.
Woo! Gentlemen, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Would you like to take a picture with this amazing audience?
Sure.
All right, everybody, we're going to come towards the stage. Not on the stage, but towards the stage. We'll take a picture of this amazing cast.